Lacrosse has been in my life since I was in third grade. As for my dad, he has been playing since kindergarten. Lacrosse was an activity my dad and I bonded over. We left a positive mark in our discourse community for Rochester lacrosse. My dad was my coach since third grade. There were only 2 teams in town at the time with a population of roughly 100,000 people. When I first started, lacrosse was not a big thing around the United States. There are 2 major hotbeds where lacrosse is played. That is Baltimore, Maryland, and Long Island, New York. My dad grew up in Long Island, New York, where lacrosse is like what football is in Texas. They take it very seriously, and a lot of D1 athletes play. Starting the interview, I'm going to ask some basic questions to try and have the audience get to know you better. First off, what is your name?
My name is Brian Corinne.
Where were you born?
Long Island, New York.
How old were you when you first started playing lacrosse?
Let me see, I think I started around when I was in kindergarten, so 5 or 6.
How long did you play for?
I played from kindergarten to 9th grade because when Grandma and Grandpa found a new job, we moved to Mesa, Arizona, which is about 30 minutes away from Phoenix. There was no lacrosse to be seen. The most common sports were either football or basketball during the winter because it was too hot during the summer.
How would you say lacrosse has shaped you, and what was the discourse community like when you played?
Lacrosse has shaped me immensely. I still remember when I was in middle school, it was common for kids to bring their sticks during recess. We would just play, and it was how I developed my skills. And all the kids I played with at recess were on my team, so we built chemistry, and that is what made us better, I feel like. Back in the 80s, we would have a cookout before every game as a way to bring teammates together. And there was a sense of camaraderie, and I felt like we were brothers while playing. I knew they had my back.
In my dad's lacrosse career, he had played for 3 teams that made it to the state championships in New York, which is a big deal for the fact that those are the best of the best against him. They never won the cup, but that is a big achievement because when I played, we never even made it to the playoffs. Now, what position did you play in lacrosse?
I played attack, which is considered offense for lacrosse. They're the people that usually score the most goals. Sometimes there would be games where I wouldn't score at all because the people would double team me. But then there were some games where I would score several goals because we had such a competitive team.
As a person who has played and coached lacrosse, what did you enjoy more?
I like both aspects of the game, from being on the bus and getting closer with my teammates. And when you score a goal and everyone surrounds you, it's the best feeling. Being a coach, I'm greatly proud of what I have done for this community, and to see you play and have fun brings great honor. This community is very special because it brings back good times I had when I played as a child.
How much has the sport changed since you stopped playing as a player?
The sport has changed tremendously. Since I played, there was more publicity for the sport than I remember. In order to watch college or professional lacrosse, I would have to go over to my friend's house. We would have to either buy it on pay-per-view or ESPN. ESPN would put them on at weird times, like at 4 a.m. when no one was watching. Then me and my friends would either have to record it on VCR or stay up to watch it. In today's age, when the spring season comes around, every Saturday afternoon, you can watch college lacrosse. Now NBC owns the PLL, which is the professional league, and those are always broadcasted on Sundays during the spring, like how football is always on Sundays during the fall and winter. Another thing that has changed is the technology and safety of the sport. I remember when I was growing up, I would use my hockey helmet for both seasons because they were essentially the technology and safety was at the same time. Another thing that has changed is the technology and the safety of the sport. I remember when I was growing up, I had just used my hockey helmet for both seasons because they're roughly the same technology and safety at the time. I would use the same gloves because it was cheaper and there weren't even that many big brands out there to buy stuff. Now there are multiple helmets including big ones. Examples would be Nike, New Balance, and Under Armour, and there is a distinct difference between each and all provide improvements to safety.
How was being president of Rochester Area Lacrosse for several years while also coaching?
You know, some days it was difficult, and some days trying to juggle everything was almost became tedious. But I persevered, and I'm glad I did because I learned how great this community is and how much of an impact it would make to the sport and the community that I love.
As can be seen, both my dad and I have left an impact in the lacrosse community, and he has done more than enough for this discourse community. He was president of the Rochester Area Lacrosse as a whole, then built it up to create a great community that strives to build on teamwork and passion for the game.